Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm excited. I finally came up with an idea for a video. I was up early this morning and I came out to do some work on my car. I wanted to replace the sway bars and some other things on it, but I can't do it because the nuts are seized on there, and I had a pair of pliers that I had on there. I literally came over here, had the wheel out, had the pliers under there, and I was like trying to stand up, pulling that pair of pliers, and it just would not come loose. There wasn't anything I could do about it. I think it might be possible to do the rears, but I'll find that out either tomorrow or... Anyway, what I wanted to do is, relating to all that, is actually go over all the problems I have with this car. Regardless of all these problems, there is like a multitude of things going on with this thing. It still runs. It refuses to let me down. Yeah, knock on wood. I need her. She's my daily. She does the work for me. Pop the hood. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek of something, and you tell me if you guys see it. That's all you're gonna get. I can't show any more than that. No, honestly, I haven't done anything like power-wise. I haven't modded the car. It's just aesthetics. So the biggest things I see on these Cougars is everybody says that they have electrical problems. I've never had any problems with my windows, my sunroof, anything inside the car. No problems, none whatsoever. Lights work. I've only ever had one problem, and that was with the hatch. For whatever reason, it just didn't want to open for one day, and then after that it worked just fine. I don't know what that was about. Hopping outside and taking a look under the car, back here where the brake lines are, one of those lines are busted. So I have a leaking rear brake line. It doesn't really affect the brakes too much. The car still stops. Oh yeah, this sucks. I got it like this. I feel bad for the car, but there is nothing I can do about that. One really big thing right now is the suspension, because the shocks are freaking blown. It doesn't really bounce too bad when I'm driving down the road, but you can tell. I mean, if you even look at it here, you can kind of see it's leaning like this, because that front right is really bad. Like, it's completely gone. This one's getting bad. The rear right is bad. This one, I don't know what's going on with this one. It's leaking, but it's still up. All the shocks are really bad, so those need replaced. The next thing I need replaced, these discs are all right. They still have a little bit of life, but I would like to get those replaced along with getting new brake pads. Definitely need new brake pads. My brakes are still kind of smushy. Yeah, that would sharpen up the brake feel a lot and help the car stop. I've got new tires, which is great. That was done a little while ago because the other ones were dry rotted and started to develop a leak in one of them, and got them all replaced. As you'll see, the tie rods, Jesus, I do this every time. As you'll see, the sway bar end links, those are things that I need replaced. They chatter and make a bunch of noise. I think in the rear right, where that strut tower is, where it meets up to the chassis of the car, I can't quite tell yet. I'd have to jack it up, take the wheel off, and look up into the arch to see where it's connected, but where the screws mount in to keep the strut in place into the car, I think part of it is like broken and hanging down, so it may not be in there all the way. So I'm really testing my luck with that. I have no clue. The power steering rack is leaking. The power steering lines are leaking somewhere back in there. If you look, you can kind of see it's actually a little wet up here, and it's wet back here, so it's leaking down into there. The belt is picking it up, flinging it up here. It's making a mess everywhere. And it's also, the alternator is back down here. If you look right there, alternator is back there. Follow the belt and you'll see it. So all that's leaking onto there, so that may be why a lot of these Cougars had a lot of problems, because possibly just fluids getting flung up onto it, causing problems. Obviously you don't want fluids on your alternator, and every now and then my lights will kind of flicker a little bit, but the engine doesn't like idle rough. It's just the headlights. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe one of the lines or grounds or something connected to it is going bad. Next thing I'm gonna address is my alignment is horrible. The wheels on all corners are kind of cambered out a little bit, which I'm not too worried about. It kind of helps with handling and everything. But if you look here, you can see tire is to the right. And oh, this one's turned with it. Huh, that's surprising. Normally this one will be straight, and you can see the other one is turned out just a little bit. Also, I think either wheel bearing is going bad or something. I'm not quite sure, because it's really not causing too many problems. And there's, like I said, there's not been any problems with it so far, but it's obviously off. When we got this car from the dealer, they were supposed to fix that. It was fixed when I got it, but it like started doing it again within like not even 200 miles. So I have no idea. They probably just did a temporary fix just to try and get me for my money, get me to come back so they could repair it. No. No. I guess the next thing that I'm going to address is the paint chipping back here. I need a new rear bumper, and this needs bent back out because you can see that doesn't line up. If you haven't seen the video of me going over this, my mom backed into my car with her truck and it crushed the bumper and the paint started chipping everywhere. It's not too big of a deal. It's obviously only cosmetic, so it's not going to hinder the driving experience. Another thing is this is again purely cosmetic. The one over there is blue, this one's black. Again, if you haven't seen the video of me talking about these, this one was taken out because some guy was driving down the middle of the road and I had to get over, and I ended up hitting a mailbox, so I had to replace that one. This one here, I had parked up on the side of the road after working a extra shift at work, went over to my friend's house, and somebody just came over and I guess took it out. They cleaned up the mess. I came out, there was like literally one little shard of glass on the ground, but they were gone and my mirror was gone. So, okay, going back to the engine bay, I need new belts. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but I also may need a new idler. I'm not sure which one it is. Again, whenever I start up the car, there is like a little, either a whine or a hiss. It's not the sound of air being sucked in around here. I know that for a fact. It's just a kind of, I know it's just one of the belts or the pulleys. It's nothing major. So I'm pretty sure we also need a new clutch. I'm almost positive that it's the same clutch that has been in this car since day one. I mean, it grabs fine, but it kind of acts up every now and then. I'm not quite sure what it's about. I've also been on Cougar forums, and they say it could also be I'm losing pressure in my clutch pedal, because this is hydraulic, so that may be a possibility. Another thing I need is a new door hinge. Whoops, I just locked the car. I need a new door hinge because this door falls down whenever you open it up. Typical, just like a 350Z door, it's really heavy. Alright, so we're just gonna hop straight into this one. So one night I was getting ready for work, leave my house, then I get into Ice Cube, where I take my left onto Waffle House. Go over the bridge where Waffle House meets with Dingleberry. After you get over the bridge, there's a Love's gas station with a McDonald's on the side of it, and there's a light. It's a four-way intersection. People can come from over here, from the gas station, and Waffle House. So as I'm rolling up to the light, there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse that had a V6 and an exhaust on it. So I'm stopping at the light, and they're turning left onto Waffle House, and they just punch it. So it had an aftermarket exhaust. It sounded pretty good. It sounded all right. It was kind of raspy, but I just gave him a little rev back. I was like, okay, cool. And then I just sat there waiting for the light. There was nobody behind me. I didn't see anybody come up, but there's just people doing their own thing, going into the gas station, doing whatever everywhere else. And then the light turns green. Obviously I take off. I'm ready to go, but I'm not in a hurry. I'm just heading to work. So as you do, first, second, third, and I look behind me, and the whole time there's just been this set of headlights out of nowhere. This set of headlights is just right on my rumpus. And I'm like, all right, I've had enough. That whole week, I've had so many people ride my ding dong, and I was tired of it. So clutch in, drop it to second, and I just punch it. We start going, and the headlights still right there the whole time. So top of second, all right, third, still there the whole time. I'm like, what in the hell? So they start pulling up right beside me and just sit there. Then that lane starts to fade out, so they get back behind me again as we're going up the road. I'm not going to tell you how fast we were going, but it was definitely pretty up there. We start to crest the ridge of a hill, and there's some lanes to turn left into, which you can obviously turn left and down another road. So I start slowing down because, I mean, we're just flying, right? So I slow down, start slowing down to the speed limit, and they start coming up, and then they kind of slow down too. I'm just going my merry way, and next thing I know, cherries and berries. I just see them in my rear view just for a split second, and I'm like, oh, waffles. But they just turned off and did their own business. I was like, I just raced a cop. But yeah, so I headed on my way and I kept going. I went straight to work. And, you know, didn't think much of it. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize she could go that fast. I know I would have been beat if they just like mashed it. I still want to give her credit for working as hard as she did. I mean, if you're holding off a cop in a, what are those, the Dodge Chargers, I'd say she's got some get up and go. But, so I get to work, right? I talked to one of my buddies about this, and he goes, yeah, my buddy also said he raced a cop. He's like, you gotta be careful. People have been saying that there's been cops like racing people and stuff. And I was like, wow, interesting. Yeah, I guess he was just a good sport and he just wanted to see me take off or something, because, I mean, like I said, I just rolled off from the light. There was nobody behind me. First, second, and then all of a sudden there's just lights in my rear view. This dude is still right on my ass. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. Yeah, I just dropped a second, take off, and I guess that's the story of the night I raced a cop.